it's usually for the best if you act on those decisions sooner and move on, and not slow yourself in the business down by delaying decisions.
Today we have Michael Epstein, the CEO of PostPilot. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
You're welcome. Well, I'm interested. Tell me about your business. Tell me about what PostPilot does.
Sure. So PostPilot is a platform that allows you to send personalized postcards and handwritten cards at scale as easily as you'd send an email campaign or create an email flow. So we natively integrate with your e-commerce platform like Shopify, and you can create segments and triggers and automatically send personalized postcards that help get your customers to come back and keep buying from you over and over again.
That is a fantastic service. And where do you send to?
We send worldwide. Most of our customers are based in the US, but we can send internationally as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm interested, how did you get started?
Sure. So I've been in e-commerce for over 20 years. Started a company and sold it. Have worked as an operating partner and CMO at multiple private equity-backed online retailers, and I've used direct mail successfully throughout my career. I think it was a pain. Honestly, it was at that time. It was exporting spreadsheets and finding a graphic designer and finding a print house and then sending a big batch of cards at one time and then trying to get more spreadsheets to figure out what the ROI was on that campaign. And it was just a mess. And my partner and I were both thinking to ourselves, like, how do we make this as easy as sending an email campaign? And so the two of us and our third co-founder built this platform that made it super simple, and it's been really effective for e-commerce stores as well as business salespeople.
Yeah, what a great business model. Now, even though I'm in digital, I love direct mail. It's been really effective for us as well, and it's built our business up to the next level a number of times. So, run us through why direct mail. Yeah, well, like why would somebody engage in direct mail?
Sure, it's a great question, and my background is all kind of digital marketing. So, I think what's unique about direct mail today is it used to be that your mailbox was what was filled with junk mail, and your email box was the pristine place where only the important messages got through. And now, as everybody knows, it's kind of flip flopped. You get 140 emails a day on average, and you're ignoring or deleting most of them without even reading them. And the mailbox is actually where that physical touch point from a brand that you've done business with is perceived more like a gift. People look forward to it, they engage with it, they actually read it, and they actually act on it. Plus, it's nice that it often is sitting on your counter on your desk for days instead of a message or a digital ad that just is fleeting and gets discarded again within almost instantaneously. So it's been a really effective channel for me in my career, as well as our thousands of customers that are looking for a way to reach their customers when their customers are really experiencing just digital overload. I mean, today you're lucky if you get a 20% open rate on your email campaign. So that means 80% of those customers that have raised their hand and said, I like doing business with you, are not even really opening or reading your email. So how are you going to reach them, and how are you going to stay top of mind? How are you going to get them coming back and build loyalty that drives not just customer retention but profits? Because that's your most profitable customers are the ones you don't need to pay for to acquire again. So it's been a really effective high ROI channel for us that builds loyalty and drives more profitability for the customers that we work with.
Yeah, fantastic. And you mentioned e-commerce before. Does your service slide in nicely alongside, the service of e-commerce?
Yeah, so natively integrates with Shopify, and so that means you can easily create customer segments the same way you do in an email campaign. You can say, anytime somebody spends over $500, trigger this thank you card to go out, or even our new technology has handwritten cards, which creates an actual hand ink, real pen to paper card that greets them by name with a personalized card, sends it in a handwritten envelope with a real stamp, and just thanks them for being a VIP customer. And because it's all integrated, it can all be done automatically, and we can automatically track the ROI of these campaigns because we know exactly when the card went out, when it gets delivered, and whether that customer has come back to buy again.
Ah, fantastic. It makes such a complicated process really easy, it sounds.
That's the goal, yeah.
So, Michael, I'm curious, what are some of the important factors? Because you obviously worked in this space for a while. What are some of the important factors in scaling a company to that 8 or 9 figures?
Yeah, so in my career, I've been lucky enough to work with a number of 8 and 9 figure brands, and I think one of the most important things that I learned, there was a quote, and I can't tell you who to attribute it to because I can't remember, but somebody deserves credit for it that's not me. But it was one of the ones I like is as you're growing kind of in the early stages and to the kind of the 6 to 7 figure range, you're looking to hire for your weaknesses, people that can perform the functions that you just don't want to do or can't do. To really get to the next level, it's hiring for your strengths, building that team around you that can perform specific functions and perform in specific roles in the company better than you could even in these roles. So sure, I knew how to run Google Ads and did it myself for a long time when we were first growing. But once you get to a certain point, you can't do it all as much as you want to try. And building that team around you that's really expert at performing these roles and these functions is what's going to really take you to the next level. So can't emphasize the team enough.
Yeah, that's really good. So, could you give us 1 or 2 insights that gave you the biggest and most dramatic growth for your business?
Sure. I think that in PostPilot specifically, it's been uh, kind of this free trial campaign. So for our users who haven't run direct mail campaigns in the past, it people were intrigued, but if they haven't done it before, they kind of want to test the waters and see how it works for them. And we got to the point where we were so confident after seeing so many results from so many existing clients that we could ensure that they were creating campaigns that were going to drive high ROI. That we actually are now offering to set up the campaign for them for free, because also a lot of people just don't have the time or bandwidth to get to it sometimes. And we'll even send the first 500 cards of their campaign for free so that they can see if it works for them. If it doesn't, no harm. They got a free campaign out of it. If it does, we know that they'll keep sending.
Yeah, for sure. That is a great strategy. So, what's been the most challenging part of growing your business?
Yes, there have been any number of them. I think over the years, with some of the other ecom businesses in particular, you run into everything from staff turnover and attrition to supply chain problems. I know that that's something that a ton of our customers today are experiencing, and we've experienced as well with just difficulty getting raw materials and getting products in from overseas. Cost of materials go up. Cost of transportation and logistics is through the roof. So that's something that I think is pain point that I've experienced over the years, and particularly more recently, and something I know customers are really facing today.
Yeah, and do you have any kind of techniques or strategies that have helped get around those shortages?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a silver bullet for some of these things. I mean, it is tough to get around things like the cost of a container 10xing in 6 months. But certainly, if you have access to capital, deploying that in taking on additional inventory was one of the biggest things that we've done in the past, and I know that businesses are doing today. It's tough on the balance sheet, but it really protects your position, particularly right now as we're right right bumping up against the holiday season. You got to make sure that you've got enough stock on hand. It's you don't want to be selling out in November.
Absolutely, yes. That's a bit of a scary proposition. But all right, so then what advice would you give to business owners and CEOs who want to break through to that next level?
I think again, it's the team is such a core component. The culture that you set as well. I think it was Peter Drucker that said, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." I think if you just don't get that right, and again, taking over, coming into to companies over the years that were needed needed kind of to be turned around. One of the biggest things that we would find consistently is just a culture that wasn't focused on execution, didn't have the right people on board that could really, again, execute, or were really forward thinking and progressive in their thinking. And so setting that culture, um, and getting the right people on board, and moving the wrong people off the bus as quickly as you can, is just so critical, especially if you're talking about scaling to the next level beyond the 6 7 figure business.
And that's as important as hiring the right people. So
Yeah,
if you could,
absolutely.
yeah, if you could go back 5 years, Michael, and give your younger self a bit of advice, what would that be?
That's a good question. I think it might be to trust your instincts sooner. Where you want to give folks the benefit of the doubt, certainly, but I think in my career, I look back, and the decisions and situations that I didn't feel very good about, um, never they never ended up working out particularly well. And I think there's something to that, even at scale. Like, sure, you want to use data to support your decisions and everything, but if something just really doesn't feel right, whether it's a strategy or whether it's even an employee, like, it's very rare that I've had a bad feeling about how a particular personnel issue might play out, and it hasn't, and they've surprised me. I won't say it's never happened, but it's usually for the best if you act on those decisions sooner and move on, and not slow yourself in the business down by delaying decisions.
Yeah, I like that. And how often do we just get a paralysis by analysis? We're just so into the numbers, and that we ignore our own intuition. That's really good.
Yeah, I think you're
So,
right.
Michael, finally, who can you best help? And if they want to get in touch, how can they reach out to you?
Sure. So I think for PostPilot, we definitely serve the e-commerce store owner. These are typically 7, 8, and 9 figure businesses, businesses that have a little bit of scale to them. At least so far, it's not the best suited for somebody that's a brand new business that doesn't have an existing customer base. But once you've got a handful of customers, we can really help boost your retention, your customer loyalty, and your profitability. So e-commerce store owners is really our bread and butter. And if you want to reach me, Michael at PostPilot, you want to just talk direct mail, you want to talk marketing, just I'm always happy to chat, and always happy to hook your listeners up with a special offer to help get them started on PostPilot.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yes, because yeah, and by all means, guys, please take Michael up on that offer. So, Michael, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate your insights there. And yeah, we've had a great time. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ryan. Great to be here.
Thanks, Michael.